Hello, people of the world watching car reviews on the internet. Welcome to this, a 2019 Ford Mustang GT with Performance Pack 1. For those of you that follow my project car content here on YouTube, not just car reviews, you'll probably already know that this car belongs to Charlie. He just recently purchased it and a ton of you have requested I film a review on it. So now this is happening. All right. First things first on this Velocity Blue S550. As you'll notice, it has quad tip dual exhaust with black tips because this is not the factory exhaust. However, much like the factory exhaust, this aftermarket one is still an active exhaust. You can see the flap inside the inner tip, the little actuator up there to move it. And it is a Borla Attack catback stainless steel system. Has these rather interesting little segments with 4 individual chambers on the tail section before the muffler. And that is one of the most maintenance-friendly charcoal canister locations I've ever seen. Just behind the rear diffuser. Really easy to get to the light bulb there for the reverse light. Out back, the S550 Mustang GT utilizes an independent integral link rear suspension configuration. With this being a Performance Pack 1 car, it came standard with a Torsen rear differential and a 373 final drive ratio. The rear anti-sway bar on the Performance Package 1 measures in at approximately 22mm and change diameter, mostly all of which is comprised out of aluminium to include the knuckle. The remainder of the links you can see are boxed steel in construction, with the exception of the upper just above the axle is cast iron. While MagneRide was an option on these cars, this one is not equipped with it, which means this one is paired with a set of monotube fixed rate fuck if I know dampers. Moving down the center of the car, you can see it does have a true dual exhaust with a HX pipe. It's like both. H. Mid pipes each measure in at approximately dual 76mm in diameter pipes, 3 inches each. Is the second year after the mid-cycle refresh of the 6th generation Mustang, and it is built on Ford's D2C platform, which has been around technically since 2004, just heavily reworked over the years. This Performance Pack 1 manual car weighs in at 3,743 pounds with a 53 to 47 front to rear weight distribution. Little heat shield on the plastic fuel tank, saddle style, goes up over the drive shaft, which is a 2-piece steel drive shaft. See the carrier bearing in the middle. Got this nice little plastic panel to cover up and hide your brake lines, keep it smooth under here. Lots of seam sealer, no hairy cardboard or rubber undercoating or anything, just steel. As far as the transmission goes, these were available with a 10-speed auto. However, this one is equipped with the Getrag MT82 D4 6-speed manual transmission. Has a maximum torque input rating of 567 newton meters or 418 pound-feet. Features a twin disc clutch and a dual mass flywheel. This was an updated transmission that came in the 2018 model year. The casing is all finned on the underside and somebody signed it. That's neat. I wonder if anyone's watching this that works at the Ford plant that made these and know whose signature that is. Aluminium transmission crossmember. The subframe has these square stock steel tubing braces that connect it directly to the chassis. Plastic oil pan sump with a neat looking little drain on. That's interesting instead of just having a traditional plug. Also, fun fact, this thing holds 10 quarts of oil. Ease of maintenance on the Coyote cars actually looks great. It does not, I mean, you got the steering shaft itself is super easy to access. Oh, it's got tubular stainless steel headers from the factory. The starter's incredibly easy to access. You can see the back of the AC compressor right there. The motor mounts aren't hard to get to. You can see the top of the steering rack right there. Speaking of that rack, it is a 3-mode electric assist unit, so you can vary the steering feel based on the setting that it's in. Up front, it utilizes a double ball joint McPherson strut style suspension configuration with cast iron knuckles, essentially a triple ball joint set up here at the bottom if you count the tie rod. Again, paired with those fixed rate monotube coilover front dampers. Front anti-sway bar, which is not easy to access, mind you, measures in at approximately 32 millimeter and change diameter. No stupid hairy cardboard under this car. Nice big thick plastic under diffuser in the front. That can take a hit. Unfortunately though, it does have a front plate bracket drilled into the front bumper from the previous owner. All right, it's time for the braking test. Nothing behind me. Ready, set, go. Okay, wow. Wow, that was not what I was expecting. It was very smooth initial bite, very just linear. It was not as sudden and drastic as I thought it would be. Nice firm pedal feel. Very short stopping distance, especially for being on all seasons. People of the internet, it has begun. The giveaway on my 1983 Datsun 280ZX. There's no purchase necessary to enter or win. The full rules and details of the giveaway are listed on my website, sarentuned.com, where you can also subsequently go to purchase merchandise. Every dollar spent gains you an entry to win either this car or a cash-only prize option if you don't want the car. So you'll be seeing a lot more of this thing coming up in upcoming videos, doing a little mini build series on it. Thanks. That braking was just made possible thanks to a 6-piston Brembo front caliper with a 380 millimeter or 15-inch front rotor. The wheels, these were an optional set of 19x9 forged alloys wrapped in a set of two 55/40 Continental Control Contact Sport all-season tires. All seasons in Arizona. That's not needed. It is just a one-piece plain steel rotor. Probably could lose quite a bit of unsprung weight by going to an upgraded aftermarket 2-piece rotor with aluminum hats. Inner fender liners, plastic, and about foam fingers width of ride height, stock ride height. I have to say the bumper lights are personally my favorite part about the facelift S550s. The vent underneath it though has a plastic cap blocking it off, but on the back side there is an open slot right there. So you could probably make those functional. Texturized plastic side skirts are a smart touch because they're durable against rock chips. Out back, Ford chose violence by going with carpeted inner fender liners and less than a foam finger's width of ride height. Oh, that's cute. They even give you a little sunshine, rain cloud, and a snowflake to burn off for an excuse to get summer tires. Out back, you go down to a single piston caliper with a 330 millimeter or 13-inch rotor. The wheel is wider at a 19x9.5 wrapped in a 275/40 Continental all-season tire. In the name of science, it is now time to give it the beans. But first, assessment of bolstering capabilities. It's got some bolstering to it. The seat itself is very soft and plush, so it does cause me to move around a little bit. This one has the black leather interior, non-Recaro. They're nice and soft. The seats are both heated as well as ventilated. As far as drive modes go, I have some upfitter switches down here, which, is that metal? Might be, or maybe it's just hard plastic. Anyway, I got this one for mode, flip it up and go from normal to Sport Plus, track, automatically defeats a traction control, drag strip, or snow and wet, put it into drag strip. And then I can go into the menu where it says exhaust mode, and I have the variable settings for the active exhaust. There's a quiet start so you don't wake up your neighbors if you want to be polite. And then I can also go into the gauge cluster to track apps. And then I have launch control, lap timer, line lock for doing burnouts, braking performance, acceleration timer, accelerometer, a bunch of stuff packed into this. The rev match, auto rev match feature. You'll notice that this does not have the full digital gauge cluster. It's very interesting, the options that were selected on this car, whoever spec'd it out brand new. I'm gonna go into launch control, where you can program the RPM at which you'd want to launch it at. I got this thing set at 5100. Give it a little launch and see what it can do. Ready? I gotta let off a little bit. Feels weird revving it all the way to 8 grand. That's good. I short shifted a little bit there into second because tires are definitely cold and they're all seasons. Oh, that gets the blood flowing right there. That's great. Hood pop. The hood's kind of heavy. No hood struts either. Are they functional? Well, they are. Heat extraction. Okay. Underneath the hood of this 2019 Ford Mustang GT is the Generation 3 Coyote all aluminum naturally aspirated 5-liter 4-cam V8 that produces 460 horsepower at 7,500 RPM and 420 pound-feet of torque at 4,600 RPM. Now, this car is modified, does have an aftermarket catback exhaust as well as an aftermarket intake and a matching performance tune that raises the maximum red line up to 8,000 RPM. NA V8 that revs to 8 grand. It's like a V8 Honda S2000 if you look at it in that sense. I'll allow you to speculate what the new horsepower and torque level is with those parts in the tune. I would pull off the plastic engine cover, but you can see it goes underneath this strut tower brace. I like that, it says GT on it. And those strut towers are fairly far cambered inward, about as much as they can be with still giving clearance for a 4-cam V8. You can see the valve covers are plastic. And underneath this gourd looking coolant expansion chamber, there is actually quite a bit of room in front of the accessory belt drive of the engine. It does have that abrasion resistant stuff on the coolant hoses. I like that stuff a lot. Looking down here on the driver's side, you can see the coil packs on the top of the valve cover. There's actually not a ton of stuff strewn across the top of the valve covers. I thought there would be. Digging a little bit deeper on this 5,038 cc or 302 cubic inch V8, it is over squared at a 93 by 92.7 millimeter bore and stroke with a 12:1 compression ratio. Does have a forged steel crankshaft, forged steel connecting rods, and cast aluminum pistons. Moving up to the cylinder heads, employs Ford's TI VCT twin independent variable camshaft timing, both intake and exhaust cams, and is a port and direct fuel injected engine, as well as it has a timing chain. You can see it does have a traditional vacuum brake booster and a tail of the hidden clutch master cylinder. Where the hell's that thing at? Where are you hiding? Well, that's a cute design. Caution, 12-volt battery requires you reading a book. Also, springtime in Arizona, yellow Palo Verde flowers everywhere. All things considered, with this being a fairly large 4-cam V8 up top, ease of maintenance, not as bad as I thought it was going to be. It looked easy from the bottom, gets a little bit tighter up top, but all in all, it doesn't look too bad other than the clutch master cylinder situation over there. Okay, let's take this thing for a rep. Sideways, this thing rips. Oh my god. It feels uncomfortable revving it all the way to 8K. This is... They sound good stock, but... that is a symphony. Now, I have reviewed a GT350 with the flat plane crank, and that car is amazing, but I don't know, I think I prefer the sound of the cross plane crank in the regular Coyote. Oh, it's so good. It's got me like vibrating right now. My heart is racing. I mean, I've driven faster cars than this, but it's just the way it delivers it. It revs forever. And with the 373 gears in here, the gears still feel really tall. Like, I almost feel you could do 393s or a 430 in this car. That is so so good. It's, I mean, a 3,700 pound car. It's getting up there a little bit in weight. It's, I mean, it definitely feels like a lightweight compared to, say, a Charger or Challenger, with those tipping well over 4,000 pounds. But 3,700 pounds, it's not light. In the steering feel, because I have it in the most aggressive setting, it feels hefty, while also feeling nimble in the corners. It feels heavy, but still playful. About 2,000 RPM, I'm gonna roll into the throttle. Yeah, that's what you notice in the Mopar cars, especially the Scat, is all that torque down low. I mean, 6.4 liters versus 5 liters, it's quite a bit of displacement difference. That is one of the pros with the Mopar cars. The Camaro kinda, it's like a balance between the two, I feel, but neither of those exist anymore. So it's a shame. It was nice to have options in this category of sports car. And I'm sad, like genuinely sad, that there is no more V8 rear-wheel drive Chevy sports car. There's no longer one from Dodge. Yeah, they might be working on a new one, but that whole new platform of the EV Charger is just such a massive car. I don't even know how that will be with a V8 in it. It's just, I feel the car's too big in general. It's hard to tell whether the computer is doing the auto rev matching or me, because I'll still do it. That was me. That's insane. Trunk pop. All right. In case you were wondering, golf clubs do fit in the back of a S550. I think that's a requirement of an engineer. You have to play golf. Giant thumpy boy subwoofer in the trunk. Wool lined to keep your golf clubs warm. Unlike me, it's freezing right now. Fuck face. The latch on the back of the seat looks like Iron Man's mask, first revision, when he was trying to get out of danger, which I'm about to be in by sitting back here. How did I do this to myself? That's about all. I'm gonna be able to, have fun trying to drive with someone sitting behind you. I can't sit back here. My head hits the rear glass, even sideways. The back seat is for insurance purposes. I don't even know if insurance works that way. I don't know if that's just something our parents told us when we were little. I do have to say that the interior of the S550 looks like it's gonna age better than the new S650. I really like that the S550s had these two gauges up here for the vacuum and the oil pressure. As far as the infotainment system goes, it's showing its age, and that's not necessarily a bad thing because it's integrated nicely into the center of the dash rather than just stuck on the top of it like some kind of weird tablet. The stereo that's in here is actually pretty decent. Was not expecting it to sound as good as it does. It's got a little white horseball shifter on the love it or hate it MT82 gearbox. A good old-fashioned mechanical rip-it e-brake instead of a stupid electronic one. The door cards are kind of just simple. Oh, that's actually soft, squishy. I thought it was hard plastic. Very classic looking steering wheel. Plenty of buttons and controls on here. Black headliner, I like that. Very simple map light cluster. Aluminum pedal covers. Ford now has been the only American muscle car, pony car, sports car that has survived the test of time. Chevy called it quits after 2002 with the Camaro, and then again called it quits a second time around instead of redesigning it. Dodge called it quits on the Charger and Challenger back in the 80s, essentially, when they became front-wheel drive DSMs. And then again, essentially called it quits when they decided to turn their muscle cars electric. That was a game of around and find out that they learned the hard way. Ford, still to this day, naturally aspirated V8, supercharged V8, manual transmission, automatic transmission, however you want to have it. Where Ford is struggling, though, is with the cost of the new S650 Mustang. Especially with interest rates, it's just not that appealing as it once was, because you can still get low mileage, super clean S550 GTs for like half the cost. And it still has enough tech and creature comfort features to feel modern but is not bloated with a bunch of unnecessary stuff, nor does it have an encrypted ECU that makes it a nightmare for aftermarket upgrades, which literally everyone that buys one of these cars eventually wants to do with it. I'm sure there will be modern tuners, if not there already is, that has unencrypted the S650 ECU and found ways to tune it. For a car that is now 6 years old, it seems to be aging fairly well. There is a little bit of creaks and rattles in here, but that's mainly from the golf clubs that are in the trunk bouncing around and my camera gear that's in here. Fuel economy, since Charlie has owned this thing, he's put about 5,000 miles on it, and he's been consistently averaging just a smidge under 23 miles per gallon. That's really good. And if you were to do all highway, it would go up even further from that. You can't go wrong with something like this as far as fun factor for the value for a daily driver. And I completely understand why he bought this car. It is now time to give this Mustang some scores, starting with the bean score, the assessment of feeling you get in your gut when you give it the beans. And 2019 Mustang GT Performance Pack 1 with some bolt-ons and a tune gets a rating of... The major limiting factor, like I said, just the fact that it has some all seasons on it. Nice high performance sticky summer tire would go a long way in that department. Followed by the cookie score, assessment of value, and because this car was purchased used with 19,000 miles in the low to mid 30s, it gets a rating of, with brand new S650 GTs with performance packs being well over $50,000, it's kind of a no-brainer for a low mileage mint condition S550 for fun for your dollar. It's just interest rates and the high cost is really killing a lot of cars. Next is the wrench score, the assessment of ease of maintenance, and this car gets a rating of, followed by the squid score, the assessment of handling, and it gets a rating of. The all-season tires are the big limiting factor here. However, Charlie had already ordered a set of forged monoblock aftermarket wheels, as well as some ultra-high performance summer tires to go with them. So that issue will be addressed. It'll be interesting to see the performance difference with that. Lastly is the Penguin score, the assessment on how much I personally like a vehicle. And this car gets a rating of... I'm normally not a fan of racing stripes on any vehicle, but a Velocity Blue with white stripe manual transmission V8 Mustang is about as in America as it gets right here. Like, it is kind of an iconic color combo, and it's a pretty blue too. So anyway, hope you guys enjoy this review. I'll see you soon with another. Bye.